and I agree, you're spending that for the Silver Link bond money.
Right.
That's for that.
That's
and
right.
it's going to overlay, period.
That's right. Period.
Then that's all, so we'll know where it's going.
But I mean, there's roads that, and I know what's where everybody was getting confused, that I had microed or done prior to the bond, Jerry.
Oh, I know that, that wasn't the confusion part. No, the
All right,
confusion
hey,
part
Mike,
was,
let's go over the rest of that next meeting, okay? So our next meeting, can you just get a total of where we at so everybody knows, you know?
Yeah, me and Miss Laura will be
Y'all-
glad.
Yeah, get all the
I'll
numbers
get slowed
together.
down, we'll get slowed down.
All right, okay. So what's our next item?
Hey, I got one thing I need on the Hempfield Reservoir Disaster Project. Tim, can you help me with this real quick?
Is that the change order?
Yeah.
talking about the
You don't
spillway.
know.
Yeah.
You can handle it.
Actually have two items.
Yeah.
NRCS is a little simpler. We'll
Yeah. So-
touch it first if you don't mind.
Yeah, can you steer me?
On the Mill Creek in the Woodlands Glen Drive, the NRCS project that we got some money to rock the ditch. If y'all remember, the bids came in really good. It was, I think, about 68,000 and some change. The contractor has completed that project. There's about $13,000 worth of NRCS money left. And there's another portion of the bank that we really want to stabilize. NRCS agrees that we can stabilize it, but they want us to go a little bit further. So in order to get the 13,000, the county would need to put in around 7,000 to basically for NRCS to allow us to use their 13,000. So their distance would
I
be.
don't remember this coming up. Well, how did this even get on our agenda?
This has been going on probably for about a year on some of that erosion. They got an emergency deal, probably 6, 8 months, 9 months
Right,
ago,
yeah.
where we had them go look at several spots of the creek. This part's in Castlewoods. It's not. It's Mill Creek, but it's not in Mill Creek subdivision. Parts that they can do emergency work on, right? So we approved them to do that. I guess it's been 8 months now, 9 months, 10 months a year. So there's only a little small stretch. I don't remember the distance. It's maybe a couple hundred yards,
Yeah,
maybe,
a
if
couple
that
hundred
much.
feet.
Yeah, it's not much. So they came in and were able to patch this area of it. Well, when they bid it out, the amount of money that they had allotted to it, they had some excess. So they can go down a little bit further. It's the only way you can legally get in there to do anything, through that NRCS
Right.
deal. So that's what they're saying they can do. They can spend their additional 14 grand they had left to go down, but we've got to come up with 7.
Right, because, I mean,
Finish
the
the spot.
ditch is eroding daily. So basically, they said you can go X number of feet, but
I
we
just
can.
didn't remember us doing it at all, so.
Yeah,
All right, what's the next item?
So what we would do is we would ask, and we had to take down 2 trees, big trees. So that was a $6,000 ad. So basically, what we would ask for approval is, let's see, that'd be $26,000, 13,000 of which would be our NRCS money. So it'd be a change order for $26,000 to add to the project.
So 13 of it's on us?
Yes, sir.
Oh, the 6,000 are paying for the trees.
Right, yes, sir. That would not be NRCS eligible.
Right.
Some big
The
trees.
7 is
They are
Big,
NRCS.
huge
big.
trees.
I looked at them. I don't know about what it costs to remove them, but they are huge
Oak
trees.
tree, big old oak.
Yep,
All
right
what's
behind
the
the
other
house.
item?
The other item is on the Spillway Road project.
Yeah, so part of the deal in
And it's
Spillway
not in my
Road,
district.
when they came in there.
What was the price? Didn't we get a quote on that, on the tree? Or,
Said
no, Mike.
$6,000.
I don't know if that's what was estimated, but Mike hadn't gotten the bids the last time I talked to him.
On the tree taken down.
Yes, I got it.
What was it, 6?
That is the bid.
Yeah, that's what we're adding to the contract.
The second thing was the Hempfield project. Part of the thing that was bid out in the Hempfield deal, there wasn't any curbs for the area they're trying to finish it, because all the overlays had covered up the curves over the years. So what we're needing to do on that same point is to put the curbs in to finish that project at Spillway
How much
Road
is
and
that?
North Shore.
So the curve, to remove the curve that we didn't know was there, and here's a couple of pictures if y'all want to look at them.
Yeah.
Where there's obviously, you can't see the curve. And I think they probably initially put asphalt in that curb to make it drain to the outside, because there's no drainage in that median,
When they designed it, they couldn't see the curve because all the overlay had gone up.
on the median side.
Do we
Median
have to
side.
have a curve in there? If we haven't had one all these years, why do we need one?
In my opinion, to finish the project properly, I mean, you've got to take the curb out that's there. You got to pay to get it out. You could not put it back in, but I think you're going to not be satisfied with your finished product there. I think you need a curb there to designate the median from the lanes, and you can see there.
We didn't have it originally, so why would we have to have that now?
Well, and I'm just saying
had
that
it.
we're making
No,
it.
I'm just saying,
We
on the
hadn't had
original
it.
design, we didn't design it for curb, so now we don't necessarily need it
The
to.
part of it is you've got curb back here. You just don't have it right up in here.
But never, we hadn't had it up there? It's been
No,
covered up?
it's been, yeah, it's been
See what I'm
covered
saying,
up.
Tim?
Yeah, no, I see what you're
Design
saying.
it for curb,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if that gets the water flow better, because we've always held water
All
right
right,
here.
how many thousands is this one?
That's to remove the curb and to add the curb is $31,200.15. Those unit prices are already established in the
How many
contract.
miles
We're
of
just
curb?
adding quantities. It's 769 feet of add and 734 feet of removal. So what gets you is it's only about 375 feet, but it's on both sides of the median.
It doubles.
$31,000 for curb.
And that's at the unit price. It's already in the contract. There's not
The
a,
20,000 we already did the other day.
You're trying to get the flow right.
You're right.
This is the biggest disaster I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a project work as poorly as this has worked. Because I hadn't seen a lot of projects, but this.
Well, no matter what, we're gonna have to pay to get it out.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to pay something additional, period.
Till we didn't know it was there.
So, all right, do I have a motion to add these two items?
So moved.
Motion by Daniel. I'll second it. Any other discussion?
I'm staking out of it.
All in favor say aye. All right, first item
That appeared reluctant.
is the NRCS
Yeah, I'll make the motion to add the NRCS.
to approve it.
Yep.
All right, motion by Daniel to approve the NRCS funding for $13,000.
Second.
Second by Jared. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Now,
Can I mention one thing, since you just mentioned EWP? I don't know how far it's gonna go, but you remember our gentleman that came in Oak Grove and talked about his dog
Yes.
falling through the
Falling in
hole?
the hole.
Yeah, so, Ms. Janice, guided that gentleman, and I wanna thank her for helping with this, but she guided that gentleman over to NRCS to just inquire, is there anything that maybe NRCS could do? And so NRCS is now evaluating that situation possibly as an EWP, which would be all fed money
That
if
would
it
be
qualifies, okay?
Great.
So I mentioned
job,
that
James.
to
Thank
let
you,
you
Dennis.
know that your staff is trying
Right.
its best to help y'all figure out ways to do things that make sense and efficiencies that make sense and find money that we ain't gotta front.
All right. Thank you. Thank you much.
Did you really do that?
I did. She used to work for NRCS.
Hey, all right, the second item we have is the Spillway Road project,
I thought,
or North
I
Shore
thought we've
project.
already done them both.
No, we just added them.
and I need
We
to,
voted on separate.
All right, so
I need to clarify something on the Spillway Road also.
All right.
All right, one of the things that Hemp Hill has asked for is that one of their issues is wet clay gravel. Now, they're back on the job. They got back on the job yesterday. All right, and I think right now they can probably get dry clay gravel. We got rain coming this weekend. One of the things they asked for a while back, and we've just been kicking it around, is the potential to use crushed stone in place of the gravel.
He's all about that now, ain't he? He's pulling the same thing on West Rankin Parkway.
So, but what would happen there is the county would supply the crushed stone, because Mike can get it at a great price. So we wouldn't pay $75 a ton or whatever we would pay what Mike can get it for. The county would supply the clay gravel, the contractor would spread it.
Crushed.
Crushed stone, I'm sorry, I said clay
Wait a
gravel,
minute,
thanks.
isn't that the deal Mike told me about? They were gonna charge some outrageous amount still?
Well, what they're,
We've dewed them down pretty good, Jack.
yeah, they're basically to,
I wouldn't use that term.
about $19 a yard to spread it, which is, in normal crushed stone, you're probably looking at $30 for that. 30 and 30 is about $75 a ton, for,
We're paying them 19 to spread it?
right,
But
which
we're
that would be.
hauling and everything.
Well, but that would be in, we have clay gravel set up, so that, the spreading would wash with the clay gravel, that it would be $20,000 extra for the county to bring the stone in. The county would have to supply $20,000 worth of stone to put on the job,
And why would we wanna do that?
to expedite the project. That's, if they can't get dry clay gravel, and with rain coming in this weekend, they're gonna be ready for clay gravel next week.
Here's my biggest problem with the Hempfield problem, and I'm gonna say, I wish Chuck was in here to hear this, and I hope to goodness they'll go back and do it. But we're not getting correct information from Hempfield Construction. They tell us they can't get the stone or the dirt or wherever they go to from their pits, which is an absolute lie. Because we send Harrison and them go out to the pits, and they go look in the pits, and the people are hauling their dirt out of there, so they can get it. They just don't want to do it. So Hempfield is doing a terrible, terrible job in representing the facts back to us on what's going on in their project.
So why do we want to go spend another 20
I
grand? so they can make even more money?
didn't say I did.
All right, so-
I was just listening to Tim's part. I'm just telling you that what Hempfield's doing is a poor representation of what they should be doing on this project when they're lying to Harrison on not being able to get their stuff. And we go out there to the pit where they're getting it, and people are getting the stuff. That's a bunch of junk. And I've asked the Hempfield guys to come in here. They don't want to do it because I'd love to talk to them myself. I can't find them. Harrison's doing a good job in shielding me from them. But we need the truth from Hempfield Construction on stuff and not to lie to that guy and that guy right there on not being able to get their products.
So
Let me add
to
something
finish
about
this,
that.
to finish this thought, what my recommendation would be, if you are interested in doing that to expedite the project, approve it contingent upon us verifying that they can't get dry clay gravel. So next week, when the time comes to put clay gravel down, we can go. Mike orders clay gravel weekly, just about, I guess. We know if there's dry clay gravel, and so if in 3 or 4 phone calls, your man there can find out if there's dry clay gravel in this part of the country.
So say there's not any. Why can't they just go get the crushed stone that we're going to take? Why can't they go buy their own crushed stone?
Because of the additional cost.
Their charges are higher rate than what
Yeah.
Harrison can get.
And I will tell you two
Probably
things.
because they don't want to.
Look, we put some of our own clay gravel down on a driveway here about a week ago. It was too wet. The owner took it out, and I went and looked at it. It was too wet. It wouldn't set up. He took it out and had the contractor was working there had some, and he put his in there, and it was fine. So that clay gravel, some of it is wet. And the other thing, that's the problem some of they're having with 49, which is not clay gravel, but it's because the dirt's wet. And so they had to go back with that limestone. My gosh, the whole place down there, it's going to have a great foundation because they've had to put limestone down because the dirt and won't compact. It's too much more.
I don't wish bad things on you four, but I wish y'all could, just for a second, deal with the mess I got with Hempfield Construction in North Shore Parkway. This started May 12th.
Hey man, why don't you get some Oak Grove subdivision?
That's right. That's gone. He got that one.
This is puny compared to that.
It's not even close to that. This is 30-something thousand cars per day. There's what, 1,000 in Oak Grove?
Well, I'm talking about the length period of time of a nightmare.
This was a 100-day project that started on May 12th. May 12th. I don't even know what today is. I'm so confused. But this is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. So
18.
yeah.
And that's why we brought up the crushed stone is in an effort to give an option to expedite things. Certainly the job can be built with clay gravel when dry clay gravel can be found. Structurally it's
still
sound.
costing them days though, isn't it? Yeah. So I mean it's on them. How many days do we got? You know?
They're in the 105 range now. We're going back and evaluating some of the signal installation. There were days that they did work that with weather you couldn't charge, but if they did so much work that day, you can still charge them a day. So we're trying to work out those days.
So their
We're getting
problem
close.
finding clay gravel is their problem.
They've had all week to find it.
Well, it's
Got that right.
finding it, but finding, I guess, some
Finding
moisture
some dry.
content's fine with. I mean, I don't know about it. I just know what I know.
All right.
Mike, they hauled some out there and it was too wet.
We're
We
going
gotta
to
take
do
it out.
36. Do you have any interest in doing another 20?
Yeah. So,
Not right now.
31.2. The curve.
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to do the 20 right now. That's just me.
No
I
worries.
know we could do it cheaper, but
I get it.
Okay.
You don't want to do it then.
So I have a motion to approve the change order for North Shore.
curbs, yes. Make
Curbs.
a motion to do that, yes.
Motion by Daniel.
I guess second.
Second by Jared.
It didn't have a curb in it. I don't know why we gotta put one back
We
in
gotta
it.
take it out.
Well,
we gotta
I mean,
pay to do
it
that.
was like it was filled up, so nobody knew it was a curb
Yeah.
there.
Well, if we didn't have to pay to take it out, I wouldn't be wanting to fool with it.
I know it. Why we gotta, yeah, what?
But we gotta pay to take it out. All right, any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I make a motion to recess
I mean, to talk about how you want to handle a recess. You have the option to recess to a date certain, time certain, interim.
I don't see a
work
need
session.
for us to come back.
It's up to y'all.
I don't either.
I think we've
Emergency
already,
declarations in place that I
Yeah.
believe we can handle whatever comes
Yeah.
up.
And we've
Well,
given
we're
the
gonna be back
clarity,
in
and
what-
we've given the clarity to these department heads
yeah.
to make the call on their judgment.
And that's one question I have about that, is maybe working a rotation. If this House Senate bill passes,
I'm
that
good with
gives
that.
you the authority to work in rotation, because I don't have many people that are non-essential. They all have deadline dates.
I think based on this bill that's gonna come out today and signed, which I think it'll all be signed, that's municipalities, counties, and clears up the state stuff. I think at your discretion, you make the decision how you wanna do it.
Right. Because even though Scott said we could work from home, we don't have any county PCs, laptops to give to people, so if they
there you
don't
go.
have one.
There's 5 right here.
Yeah, take mine.
5 that will be
I don't-
here, I promise somebody.
I don't want congregations of more than 10. I don't want to get outside what the CDC and the health departments are saying. I want to stay inside their parameters because I think we bring in liability on ourselves if we get outside of that. I'm good if y'all want to close and limit access to visitors in or out, and you rotate your shifts
Right.
through
And
me
it's really gone down since we aren't taking any rentals.
Yeah.
when
We
they.
have a few people, they're mainly inquiries.
The main thing I think this bill is going to take place is at the point in which they go to mandatory house quarantines, which are doing in other states,
Yes.
where you can't leave your house, you'll still be authorized to pay those people for administrative leave. That's what's going to happen.
All right. When do we meet again?
Second.
So, recess or adjourn?
Recess.
All right. Have a motion to recess?
Second.
Motion by Daniel,
Second.
second by Steve. All in favor say aye.
Uh,
Ayes have it. All right. Good luck, everyone.
Dow just dropped below 20 now. Crashing again today.